Hey everybody, my name is Calder. I'm an outdoor educator here in British Columbia, and right now I am actually spending a lot of my time at home, making sure that I am keeping a safe distance away from people, washing my hands, and really just trying to take care of myself and stay happy and healthy. And one of the things that makes me happiest during this crazy time is making sure that I'm still able to get outside and spend time in nature and in the woods and go for a canoe paddle. And I'm lucky enough to live in a place where I'm able to do that. You can see my canoe down there. I went for a paddle today, and I just stopped on the shore to take a little break. And one of the things that I found on the shore is super awesome, and I wanted to show it to you guys. So, how should I do this? Okay. So, I came across a whole bunch of bones on the ground. And I find bones incredibly interesting. These bones, you can tell by how dirty they are and how worn down they are, that they've actually been here for quite some time, probably a couple years. And I found them over here, buried into the ground under piles of leaves, which means that they have been decaying. And a lot of little critters have been cleaning up these bones, which is why they look so nice and white. And I wanted to pull out a few of them to show you them specifically because I think they're really cool. Okay, so these ones are super cool. Not just because they're really big like this, but also because they have really cool shapes and they do really important things for the animal. So one of the ways that we can tell that this is a deer is that I actually found, first I found a whole bunch of different bones that I couldn't really tell what they were. And then I was able to find a jaw bone that looks like this. So let's look at it up close. So that's the jaw bone of a medium-sized, relatively full-grown deer. That's actually this bone right here that goes on the side of your mouth and carries your teeth. And you can see these teeth are really, getting focus there. These teeth are really nice and flat. That's to help the deer chew all the leaves and grasses and vegetation that it likes to eat. Other cool ones. This really long one, really nice and long and thin. You can see all the way down at the other end, it has this little tiny notch right in here and right in here. This is actually a rib bone. And so if you look on me, I'm wearing a life jacket right now because I was paddling. But if you look on me, this bone is the one that runs on the inside of my ribs right here. And I have a whole bunch of them all the way down both sides. So you can kind of picture this bone sitting in me like this. And this little notch that you see at the back side of it is what would connect into my spine on the very back. Now, we actually were able to find the spine itself, and it's still intact here. So I wanted to show you how this piece works. I had this little piece fall off right now, which is perfect because I'll get to show you that. So this is what a spine looks like. Really weirdly shaped, runs all the way up and down your back, right in the dead center, and it runs up and down the back of every mammal. Now you can see right through it. This hole is where all of your nerve endings would be running up and down that goes through your spine, as well as other really important fluid and tendons and things like that that help your back move and be flexible. And what we have here is all of those individual pieces connected to each other. So you can kind of see it on the side. Now when I was talking about that rib, the rib would be like this on the side. This is really hard to do with one hand. And connect in off the spine like that. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, that's how rib works. But I think this is really cool because what you can actually see is it flexing. I'm gonna try to get these back together there. So what you can see is this spine can flex up and down like this, just like the human spine would do, and just like all animal spines would do. And you can see the bones would be moving like this and would be cushioned by cartilage and fluid and making sure that the bones don't rub on top of each other. But when you look up really, really nice and close, you can see that all of these bones are connected into two little nodules like that. And I can literally pull out this bone from those nodules. And now you can see that it's separated right here. And I can push them back together. Hopefully, a little tricky with one hand. There. Like that. And then it's connected on the inside by some of that cartilage still, which is that little bit right in there and right in here. Now I think that is super, super cool. This other funny looking bone is actually a shoulder blade. So this is what goes down the animal's back and goes down our back as well. Adds a little bit of protection, also adds as a plate that slides as we move our shoulder back and forth. On a human, this is gonna be right back in here. That's where that is. And I just think it looks super cool. It looks awesome. There's the spot where it would be connecting to the rest of the skeleton. It would be rubbing on a little nodule there, similar to the way that our spine was connected into this nodule. This is just a really quite a bit bigger one, and it would allow it to flex and shift sideways and move up and down a little bit along the body. That's another piece of spine. This weird looking bone is actually the hip bone. So the inside of this, okay, one-handed again, bear with me. Inside of this little space right here would be some vital organs that are protected by the outer hard shell of the skeleton. There's more intestines and more like innards and other parts of the animal that would be elsewhere. But this is where the hips would attach, the leg bones would attach right at the hips on either side. And that's where the animal would walk from, which is pretty cool. Then this one is a femur bone. So this one on a human would go right like that. I don't know if you can see my leg there. It goes right on top like that. And it's quite a thick, very strong bone, carries a lot of the weight of the animal, just like it carries a lot of the weight of us. And I find this one really, really cool. So then there again, you can see the notch that would be connecting it to the rest of the skeleton and allowing it to bend like this. And I think that's really cool. So yeah, I wanted to show you that there's fun things everywhere if you keep your eyes out, and it's really fun to sit down and play with them and learn. What I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna rebury this skeleton back into the soil, because what happens is little tiny microbes slowly break down the bones itself, and they get all the nutrients from inside the bone so that they can live. And so there's a tiny little micro ecosystem surrounding this skeleton that I wanna make sure I don't take the skeleton away from, because that's their survival as well. The other thing I wanted to say was, when an animal dies like this, especially a deer, which is just a beautiful, beautiful animal, it can often be a really sad thing, and it is. But we also have to remember that when a deer like this dies, it is actually food for another type of animal that is able to survive through maybe a winter, help it get through several months, and maybe even feed a family. And so while it is a sad thing that we do lose one animal, we also have to remember that there are dozens and dozens and dozens of other little animals and creatures and bigger animals that got to use all the resources within this animal in order to survive and live longer themselves. So just like this animal, this deer went to feed another animal, I'm going to make sure that the bones go back into the soil so that the microbes get to feed off those bones and nothing goes to waste. So that's it. I hope you have a really good day. I hope you're staying safe. I hope your families are really well. And yeah, maybe I'll send another video soon, but hopefully I find something else cool on my walk.